We all love watching our dogs having the time of their lives just plowing through a fresh snowfall. But what if I told you that the biggest dangers in winter aren't the ones we can easily see? There are these quiet threats that so many of us miss, and today we're going to uncover them. Welcome to Love Dogs. If you're all about getting practical tips to keep your dog happy and healthy, well, you are in the perfect spot, so be sure to subscribe.
So get this, an incredible 9 out of 10 dog owners, and these are people with the absolute best intentions, make some really common winter mistakes. Now, this isn't about neglect or anything like that. We're talking about small, unintentional oversights that can slowly, quietly impact a dog's health over time. And that's exactly why we're digging into this today.
And you might be really surprised to hear where these dangers often begin. It's not out in some crazy blizzard or on an icy sidewalk. A lot of the time, the problems actually start in the one place your dog is supposed to feel completely safe, right inside your own house.
All right, so let's start our investigation right there, with those hidden dangers at home. I know it sounds a little backwards, but that warm, cozy sanctuary you've built for your dog can actually create some unique challenges for their health during these cold winter months.
So let me ask you, what do you think is the single most overlooked danger for your dog inside your house this winter? I'll give you a hint. It's something we do on purpose to make our homes more comfortable for us.
It's the air itself. Yeah, that warm, dry air pumping from our heating systems. For us, it might mean we get some chapped lips or a scratchy throat. But for our dogs, whose entire respiratory system needs moisture to work right, it can feel like trying to breathe in a desert. It's this constant, low-level struggle that they just can't tell us about.
So how do you know if this is happening? Well, you have to look for the clues. You might notice they're drinking a lot more water or licking their lips all the time. That's their body just desperately trying to rehydrate. And all that sneezing or those little throat clearing sounds, that's their system trying to clear out irritated airways. It all points to their body working overtime just to feel normal.
Okay, the next indoor danger is something we literally walk all over without a second thought: cold floors. Every single time your dog lays down on a chilly tile or hardwood floor, the fluid that cushions their joints actually starts to thicken up. A great way to picture it is to think of honey getting all thick and stiff after it's been in the fridge.
And here's the crucial part. The joints that are most at risk, we're talking elbows, ankles, and hips, are the exact same spots where they lose the most body heat when they're lying on a cold surface. This repeated stress, day in and day out, can slowly contribute to arthritis later in life. It's one of those problems that seems to pop up out of nowhere, but it's often been building for years.
And this brings us to what I like to call the undercoat paradox. You see, a dog's thick winter coat is supposed to be this amazing insulator, right? But it can actually work against them. When they come inside, melted snow can soak deep into that dense, fluffy layer right next to their skin, and it just gets trapped there. This creates this warm, damp little microclimate that is a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, which can lead to some really painful skin infections.
Okay, let's shift gears from the dangers inside to the unseen risks waiting for us outdoors. Because once you step out for that winter walk, the challenges change. And again, they're not always what you'd expect.
We all know to check for little ice balls between their paw pads, but believe me, frostbite is way sneakier than that. It tends to attack the parts of a dog's body with the least amount of protection, places you'd probably never even think to check. Let's look at these surprising hot spots. The very tips of the ears and the tip of the tail have poor circulation to begin with, which makes them super vulnerable. The dew claws get forgotten all the time, and for male dogs, their private areas are extremely exposed. But here's the really dangerous part. The damage starts long before you can see it. The tissue can literally be freezing, but the obvious signs like swelling and discoloration might not show up for days. And then, of course, there's road salt. But this goes way beyond just sore paws. It's a slow buildup of toxins. First, those tiny salt and de-icing chemical crystals get picked up on their walk. Then they get lodged deep between their toes, where a quick wipe at the door just isn't going to get them. And then later, your dog does what dogs do. They lick their paws clean and they end up ingesting those chemicals.
It's a slow, cumulative process that puts a really heavy strain on their kidneys all season long.
So, with all these hidden discomforts, how on earth does a dog let us know they're struggling? Well, that brings us to our final section, your dog's secret signals. We're going to uncover how they tell you they're hurting, often without making a single sound.
First off, let's just think about a dog's winter day. It's confusing for them. The short daylight hours totally mess with their internal clock, their natural rhythm. It gets dark way before their evening walk, which confuses their energy levels. And then, when it's finally time to wind down and sleep, all of our bright indoor lights are basically screaming at their brain that it's still daytime. All of this can lead to really poor quality sleep and a lot of stress.
But why don't they just shiver like crazy or whine when they're cold? Well, it really gets to the heart of their nature. In the wild, showing any kind of vulnerability could put them in danger or lower their status in the pack. It is a powerful primal instinct. At their core, dogs are hardwired to hide pain and weakness. It's a survival tool that's still very much active today.
So instead of a big, obvious cry for help, they give us these very subtle signals. A tucked tail isn't just about being scared, it's a physical trick to reduce heat loss. Walking slower isn't them being lazy, it's a smart way to conserve vital energy to stay warm. And that slightly hunched posture, that's their body instinctively protecting its core organs. These are all automatic survival responses.
And if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Your dog will try to act normal long after their discomfort begins. That powerful instinct to appear strong means that we, as their people, have to become detectives. We have to look for those tiny clues they just can't help but give us.
Okay, so what can we actually do? Here's your winter safety checklist. 4 key things. First, keep an eye on your indoor humidity. A simple humidifier can make a massive difference. Second, always give them a warm bed or a blanket so they're not on those cold floors. Third, be really diligent about checking and drying their undercoat and paws after every single trip outside. And finally, learn to look for those subtle signs of being cold we just talked about, not just obvious shivering.
You know, when it all comes down to it, being a great dog owner in the winter just means trying to see the world from their perspective. It's about trying to understand what they're feeling, from the dry air they're breathing to the cold floor under their paws, because they simply can't tell us in words.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you know what to look for, what are you going to see? Take a closer look at your dog's behavior this winter. For more essential insights that'll help you be the best owner you can possibly be, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, Love Dogs. Thanks for watching.